Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with the Spain News Update. And yesterday, the Spanish government announced the huge investment in the microchip industry, but more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that left comments on the last video. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that supported the channel through the new Super Thanks option. Many thanks for that. Thanks to people that bought merchandise, and a big thanks to my patrons on Patreon for your ongoing support. Now, let's get into the news, and as I said, the Spanish government yesterday approved a huge investment in the microchip industry. As we can see here, Spain to spend 12.25 billion euros on microchip industry. Spain's government has approved a plan to spend 12.25 billion euros, $13.12 billion, on the semiconductor and microchip industry by 2027, Economy Minister Nadia Calviño said on Tuesday, including 9.3 billion euros to fund the building of plants. The program, that consists mostly of European pandemic relief funds, is directed towards the digital economy and demand created by chip shortages. It was originally set at 11 billion euros when announced by Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez last month. The aim is to comprehensively develop the design and production capacities of the Spanish microelectronics and semiconductor industry, covering the entire value chain from design to chip manufacturing, Economy Minister Calviño said during a news conference after the weekly cabinet meeting. So there we go, the Spanish government putting those European relief funds to work and investing heavily in the microchip industry, some 12.25 billion euros. So digital economy, here we come. Now, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez was in Davos yesterday trying to convince investors to invest their money in Spain. As we can read here, Sanchez tries to sell Spain in Davos as the best partner for the technology industry. The president of the government, Pedro Sanchez, spoke at the Davos Forum on Tuesday. He tried to show investors the benefits of investing in Spain in the context of European funds, with the focus on two issues: the PERTE of microchips and the energy capacity to reduce the EU's dependence on Russia. Sanchez praised the agenda of reforms that the government has committed to Brussels for the disbursement of European funds, and he gave as an example the labour reform agreed with employers and trade unions, which he boasts is due to the high level of permanent contracts. We have shown that jobs can be created and that they can be quality jobs, he said, and he was confident that, despite the impact of the war in Ukraine, the Spanish economy will grow by around 3% this year, thanks to the strength of tourism and exports. So, there we go. According to Prime Minister Sanchez, Spain the best partner for the technology industry. And I imagine lots of technology companies are seriously thinking about leaving countries like rainy Ireland and coming here to sunny Spain. And who cares if you have to pay more corporate tax as long as the sun shines? Now, there's an update on the cash payments limits law that Spain passed last year. Remember that you can't pay more than 1,000 euros in cash here in Spain without the risk of getting fined by the tax department. But apparently, and according to El Economista, Brussels may investigate Spain's anti-fraud law's limits on cash payments. Brussels is considering issuing proceedings against Spain for the limits on cash payments established by the Ministry of Finance's anti-fraud law. The European Commission is already analysing the legality of the regulation, which sets a ceiling of 1,000 euros for cash payments, contrary to the criteria of the European Central Bank. The EU's Directorate General for Taxation and Customs Union has already started to investigate the Spanish law promoted by the ministry led by María Jesús Montero. El Economista has had access to the document that initiates the EU administrative procedure against this legislation. So there we go. It looks as though I'm not the only person that thinks that the 1,000 euro cash spending limit is crazy. And we'll see if Brussels does indeed investigate this anti-fraud law. Now, another delivery company has said that it is going to abandon the Spanish market. We saw how recently the company Deliveroo also abandoned the Spanish market. And now the company Gorillas are looking at how to leave Spain less than a year after arriving in the country. Gorillas, the German unicorn specializing in home delivery of supermarket products, has begun the process of leaving Spain. Its adventure in this market has lasted less than a year, leaving it mainly in the hands of Glovo and Getir. The management of this firm, dedicated to the delivery of products from ghost supermarkets, those that are only dedicated to home deliveries and are not open to the public, has announced that it is looking for a local partner to transfer its operations in Spain and thus focus on other markets that can give it profitability. So Deliveroo has gone, Gorillas about to leave, Who's next? And it seems that this type of company can't find profitability in the Spanish market. I wonder why. Now, civil servants here in Spain have been told their new working conditions, and basically it means they'll be working more from home. As we can see here, the new working conditions for civil servants to save electricity and fuel. The Council of Ministers has approved this Tuesday the energy saving plan in the General State Administration, AGE, in response to the consequences of the Russian invasion in Ukraine. With these measures, it aims to promote teleworking by civil servants who will come to the office a total of 2 days a week. In addition, the use of public transport will be encouraged, and the use of electricity and gas in public buildings will be controlled. In this way, the package of measures designed by the Ministers of Finance and Public Function and Ecological Transition, María Jesús Montero and Teresa Rivera, aims to mitigate the damage caused by the war. So, there you go, an interesting piece of news. Civil servants being told to work more from home in order to save fuel and electricity. Let's just hope that the standard of service they provide doesn't drop. Now, Spain's face of the coronavirus back in the day, Fernando Simon, is back in the press, this time talking about monkeypox. And as we can read here, Fernando Simon calls for caution with the monkey virus until we know what has happened and transmission mechanisms have been detected. The director of the Centre for the Coordination of Alerts and Health Emergencies, Fernando Simon, on Tuesday called for caution with monkeypox and insisted that the priority is to know what has happened and to detect all the mechanisms of transmission of the virus that causes it. Simon responded in this way after speaking at the Roundtable Biological Threats in Spain, organised by the Popular Parliamentary Group in Congress, when asked about the priorities of the health authorities in tackling the outbreak of monkeypox that has already spread to several countries. So Mr. Simon calling for caution when it comes to monkeypox here in Spain, and let's hope that he gets this one right because he sure stuffed up COVID-19. Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from Anne. Hi from Pennsylvania. Acabo de regresar el jueves. Un mes estupendo viajando por Cataluña y el País Vasco, y entonces a Madrid y San Fernando para visitar amigos allá. I have loved Spain since 1971 when I first came as an 18-year-old. Yeah, and thanks for the comment, and good to see that you enjoyed your time here in Spain, and good to see you practicing your Spanish. You visited some fantastic parts of the country, Catalonia and the Basque Country, and I'm sure you enjoyed your time there. And it would be great if you could write a comment telling us about some of the differences from Spain in 1971 and Spain in 2022. So I'll look forward to that if you can. One here from Jose Antonio. I missed the live show today. The way to find waiters was already said by the communist Joe Biden. Pay them more. Sometimes it's easier in English. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and goodbye. Yeah, Jose Antonio, thanks for the comment, and sorry to see that you missed the live show yesterday. And that was something that we spoke about in yesterday's live stream, how to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night in Spanish. Somebody made a mistake and wrote buenos tardes with an O instead of buenas tardes with an A, and I picked him up on it. And I pointed out that the only one that has an O is buenos dias. All of the rest are buenas, buenas tardes, buenas noches. And Jose Antonio is right when he says that it's a lot easier in English. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. We don't have to worry about masculine or feminine in English. And on the other thing that you mentioned there, the salary of waiters here in Spain, I would also agree with Joe Biden. Pay them more. One here from James. Still not going to Spain unless they drop all restrictions. Going to Greece early June. Greece dropped all restrictions. That's the way ahead. Spain needs the money, even off the unjabbed. Yeah, James, thanks for the comment, and sorry to see that the few restrictions that remain in place have put you off a trip to Spain. And I imagine the thing that has most got your goat is that annoying rule about having to wear a mask on public transport. So enjoy your trip to Greece, and I'm sure that the Greeks will welcome you with open arms. One here from Hilda. Hi Stu, hubby and I travelled from Ireland to Valencia via Roscoff last week. We weren't asked for COVID certificates getting off the ferry in France, and we drove straight into Spain without any checkpoints, not even a passport check at the Spanish border. Yeah, Hilda, thanks for the comment, and thanks for sharing the information about your trip to Spain from Ireland. You didn't have to show a COVID certificate or even your passport. How easy was that? And let's be honest, there are some advantages of being in the European Union, especially when it comes to travel. One here from Anna. Hi, I was surprised to hear Brussels being concerned about Spain's debt. Just last week, I thought Qatar invested $43 billion into Spain. As for workers, I think many people are now becoming YouTubers, Instagrammers, and podcasters. That might might be why employers are finding it difficult to get staff. Yaina, thanks for the comment, and sorry if I have mispronounced your name. And when it comes to the Qatari investment here in Spain that was announced last week, I think the figure was more like 5 billion euros and not the 43 billion euros that you said in your comment, but I stand to be corrected. And regarding the second part of your comment about how a lot of people nowadays want to become YouTubers, Instagrammers or podcasters, you're absolutely right. And although I'm not sure of the exact percentage, in a recent survey here in Spain, 12-year-old kids were asked what they wanted to do when they get older, and a huge amount said that they wanted to be influencers, YouTubers, Instagrammers, and things like that. So not sure if it's affecting the labour market just yet, but I imagine that it will affect the labour market in coming decades. And finally, one here from Thank. Hope that your parties went off well at the weekend despite the extreme temperatures. Please wish your son a happy birthday. Yeah, thanks for the comment, and don't worry, I will pass your message on to my son. And yes, the party did go well despite the extreme temperatures. Very hot weather here in Madrid on Saturday, but luckily all the people that attended the party are used to high temperatures. My girlfriend's family come from the south of Spain, Córdoba to be exact, and it gets very, very hot down there. And where I grew up, Perth, Australia, is also known for hot summers. So although I would have preferred the weather to be a bit cooler last weekend, it wasn't the case, but luckily, as I said, the party went well. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.